Is the internet making your firm look stupid? This is a webinar that we did in a long version last fall. So if you want to see that version, it's up on our website. But today you get to be involved in the new, shorter, more to the point version. I'm going to deliver this webinar in about 25 minutes. So if you're someone who tends to hold your questions towards the end, please feel free to ask them early on because we're only going to go till about 1:25. So you can use that questions pane on the control panel to ask me a question at any point. I'll kind of get to them as quickly as I can, but if I see that it's about a topic that we're going to come up on shortly, then I may wait for that. So welcome to this webinar. This is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and it's one that I have some new information. So I'm excited that you're here and that I can share with you some cutting edge marketing info. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to look great on the internet. And first, let me introduce myself a little bit for those of you who don't know me. I'm Rachel Gould, and the short version of what I do is that I'm Ingenuity Marketing Group's geek. So I'm one of the people who does social media strategies, search engine optimization. I really enjoy the technological aspects of what's possible in marketing. I came out of journalism, and so I also really love writing, and I do a lot of content strategy and content creation. So that's a little bit about me if you haven't met me before. Oh, and I should say, disclaimer, I've been growing my hair out. So if you meet me in person, I no longer look exactly like that photo, but hopefully I'll be wearing a name tag, right? All right, so Ingenuity Marketing Group. I know that some of you are familiar with us already, but if you're not, or if you only know a little bit about us, we are a marketing firm, full service. So everything, websites, brochures, trade shows, coaching for business development people, all of that, but only for professional services firms. So only for accounting, law, the AEC industries, and occasionally a little stretch into healthcare and nonprofit. And generally, what we help people with is addressing that commodity trap pricing that you get with when you have increased competition, slow or no organic growth, getting everyone on the same page about why you're different, why you stand out in your marketplace, and helping to solve frustration with marketing programs and websites that burn money and time, but you really don't see what the ROI is. So that's kind of where we focus, where we think we can be most effective. All right, but enough about us. Let's talk about your prospects. Let's talk about your internet presence and what might be going right and what might be going wrong. So what do prospective clients want? And this is where I get to tell you the exciting new information. So I'm reading a book called Decoding the New Consumer Mind. It is possibly the most frightening book that I've read recently, but very good for marketers. It talks about how our use of technology is changing the way people buy, the way people think about buying. And one of the big changes is that people are becoming more technology focused. It's almost invisible how much we've gotten used to cell phones and email, smartphones, tablets, all of that. But I thought this stat right here, which is it's from B2B buying, so it's not consumer buying actually, and it still shows that the preferred method to contact vendors is by email by a pretty good margin there. And this is so different from how people were doing business, say, 20 years ago. I mean, it's been a radical shift that I think many of us discount in our minds because we're so used to it already. And yet, a lot of times we see firms that still have business development strategies that were built in a time when phone and face-to-face contact was the primary form of contact. You know, that's when lunches, networking, events, golfing, all those were the primary face of your firm, sometimes even your physical firm. And a lot of firms haven't caught up to how fast and how radically this has changed. I mean, the fact that more people will email than phone to contact their vendors is something that was unheard of in past generations of firms. And I have some great quotes from Decoding the New Consumer Mind to share with you. Continuous brilliant advances in technology, coupled with the power of social media to champion new products, have created trust in new, unlike anything we've seen before. Products of all sorts, not just technology, have benefited. And I want to add to that, I believe services can benefit as well. And that's why I bring this up. And the professor who wrote the book does a lot of research and does a lot of individual interviews with shoppers to find out how they're thinking about their buying process. And she writes, in my research, I've found that we're not only more trusting of new things, but also increasingly wary of brands and products that don't innovate. For the first time, heritage can be baggage. So I think it's a huge thing for firms, and it's something that almost everyone I know is not looking at it to the degree that we need to, because you can look at your firm and your competitors, and maybe your competitors, they don't have particularly good websites. They don't have great social media. And so you look at that and you think, well, we're ahead. I mean, we've got a better looking website. We're doing better on LinkedIn than our competitors. We're ahead. But what you don't realize is that your prospective clients aren't only looking at your competitors. Some of them are shopping on Amazon or Apple or Zappos. They're in their recreational time going to these websites and mobile apps that are now incredibly advanced. And there's a lot of desire for that sort of innovation and newness and for online experiences that feel really easy and connected. So they're getting that in their recreational time, and subconsciously it begins to affect how they perceive your website, how they look at what you're doing for them. And so if you have a really outdated site or you have some really dusty social media, it communicates this sense of we're not innovative. We're not even keeping up with the times. So that is my number one of how the internet can make your firm look stupid, is just not keeping pace. And I don't mean that you have to have the fanciest mobile app out there, but you definitely want to keep in mind what the really high-end sites are doing, even the consumer sites, and have a site that when your prospective clients come to it, they know that you've invested some time and money in giving them a good experience. So here's my analogy for folks who don't live in technology, that if if you're not doing this, it's like you got invited to a party with a lot of prospective clients and you don't show up. That's something that certainly happens for a lot of people. You don't RSVP, or you show up and you're dressed really badly. You came straight from the gym or something, you know. You didn't bring anything. There's no gift for the host. You talk about yourself all the time. If you're talking to someone and they're tuning you out, you just raise your voice. You don't stop and listen to them. You forget people's names. You forget details about them. That's what it's like when you're in the online space and you have a really old website, or you are using social media very poorly, you're not responding to people. That's what it feels like to folks who are used to now this new, innovative, edgy technological experience, which increasingly is creeping into older and older age ranges. So it's definitely up to folks in their 40s, and I think in their 50s, people are getting used to seamless online experiences because we're so steeped in them. So what it feels like, your prospects, maybe they can't find you online, or they find your website, they can't find the information they need. They just maybe have this bad gut feeling about your firm. They feel frustrated or lost, or they feel that as a firm, you're outdated. So to kind of locate this in our lives, I wanted to run a little poll and find out for you, when you're hiring a service firm, either in your professional capacity or in your personal life. If you're just hiring lawn care, you're hiring a service for your house, or you're looking at healthcare services, what is your biggest frustration? So you'll see, you can pick multiple options on this, I believe, but what drives you crazy when you're trying to hire someone and this occurs? I see a lot of fast clicking in this poll, so it tells me that you have all been thoroughly irritated by many of these experiences. I'm going to give you about 5 more seconds, then I'll show you the results. All right. So you should be seeing the results on your screen right now. The winner is can't find the information I need, 73%. And then in second place, annoying pop-ups, hard to get in touch with people. And then last, slow pages or something you'd be embarrassed to show your partners if you're hiring someone professionally. And you all are very bang on for some of the statistics that I've seen. So let's show you those stats. Oh, there we go. Top reasons people leave B2B sites, video or audio that plays automatically, pop-ups, lack of message. So you can see that these are really things that drive people crazy. And I trust that for many of you, you don't have automatic songs on your site, you don't have animated ads. But that third one, lack of message, that is something that a lot of professional service sites do struggle with. So, and I had some other examples here of just what happens online when someone is trying to connect with you. Maybe they heard your name as a referral, and then you're not easy to find. Your photo's not there. So especially for social media, there's no face-to-face connection, which is so important online. Your information is managed by default. You're not kind of staying ahead of your content. This is for partners in your firm generally, because if you're in marketing, then number 4 doesn't apply to you. But thinking that online will go away, or not having proper oversight so that you're getting reputation damage, you're getting inappropriate postings. These are all things that we see happening and really want to encourage people to combat. And then my last piece here in our stats section was from a survey of in-house counsel, that they found attorney-authored blogs more valuable than blogs written by professional journalists. So that's just a huge opportunity. And it applies to law firms, but it applies to accounting, it applies to AEC. It's that smart people looking for answers for their questions are willing to read your answer. They're willing to give your firm a chance to provide them with valuable information. And once you do that, you've really started to warm up a relationship with them. And then over half the respondents said they could envision a future in which a law firm's high-profile blog plays an important role in influencing clients to hire that firm. So that's pretty impressive to me, because that blog is completely controlled by you. So it's no longer that you have to spend a ton of energy going through newspapers and magazines. You can spend some of your time putting your own information out there, and it actually influences the decision to hire your firm. All right, so how do we do this? How to be awesome. So I went back to our party analogy. Pay attention to the invitation and thoughtfully respond. And that means the invitation online is when someone's searching for something that you do or someone's referred to you. Dress up, make sure that your online properties look good, whether that's your website or your Facebook page, your LinkedIn, any of those places that someone would find you online. You want to make sure they look good and they look consistent. Bring a gift, that's your blog or your white papers, your articles. Be interesting and interested. Get out of your shell and be up on current events so that you have something interesting to say. That applies to your website as well as to your party attendance. So, and I wanted us to think about what are the ways that people come to your website? Because we see mainly 2 big ways. One is search, and some firms tell us, hey, we don't get that much search traffic. That is increasing for a lot of our clients. Even if they're just getting a few clients through search engine traffic each year, that's clients who wouldn't have found them otherwise. And I'll show you an example in a little bit that illustrates that more completely. And then referral traffic, and we call this REO, which is referral engine optimization. You want your website to be a referral engine. And oftentimes, other professionals will give out 2 or 3 names when they're giving a referral. If your firm is one of those names, you want a person who comes to your site to have your site pull them in and back up that referral and have it seem like, yes, you're definitely the smart choice. And you do this by doing all the pieces that we talked about: being interesting, having good information for them, being consistent, looking good. So the referral pathway sounds like this. You need an accounting firm? Look at this one, or it can also be someone read an article and they're thinking about, oh, now I need someone who does this. What was the name of the person who wrote that great article I saw? So publicity can refer you, social media can refer you, as well as in person. And then for the search pathway, it might be, what do I need to know before we start this building project? So maybe you're an engineering firm and someone is typing in questions about building performance. How's my building envelope going to perform? Or they're starting a business, they're typing in questions about employment law. And you want your firm to be the one coming up, especially if they're in your area. I think you've noticed probably search engines are getting more and more localized. So they're automatically, if you're in the area, going to put you forward, assuming you're ranking for those kinds of phrases. Or someone might be thinking, I've got this question that my accountant's not answering, and they're going online to try to find an answer, and you want to be the person answering that. All right, so here's my example to kind of walk us through this. And this is from Sykes and Company, as a client of ours. One of our favorite examples because they've been really innovative and we've been able to do a lot with them. So they're an accounting firm that actually nationally serves independent pharmacy owners. And we've been doing video blogs with them and some articles on their website. And we also integrate this with their trade show appearances. So it's a really good online, offline integration. But you can see here, when I type pharmacy accounting into Google, they're actually #1 now. And that took us many months to get that position because they do have a pretty strong competitor. But we've been able to get the #1 spot for that. And then if you type in other variations on pharmacy accounting, you can see down here in the lower right, you actually get the video blogs that All in Sykes has recorded answering questions that independent pharmacy owners would have. So you can see how that all comes together to make a powerful presentation when someone's got a question. And they're actually getting clients now from this pathway where someone has a question about pharmacy accounting, they type that into Google, they see these videos, they start to watch them. At last count, I believe the videos combined with the trade show, so it's the two together, but they have people at the trade shows who hear about them, watch the videos, or people who come right through search through Google or YouTube. And I think they've gotten 6 new clients in the last 6 months through that pathway. And these are long-term clients, so that's kind of it's a great opportunity for them. And then step 2, so first people need to find you. Step 2, when they find you, they need to like what they find. So with Alan, we do these fairly informal videos where we're just recording him in his office over Skype, actually. And it gives you this feel that you're just sitting down with him and he's explaining something to you. And he actually had one of his new clients who came in via this pathway said, we were watching your video and it felt like you were talking right to us. Because he really knows their concerns and he addresses them in the videos. So you don't have to use video. It's a great medium. It does well for search engine optimization, which is one reason we used it here, but it could be articles, it can be blogs, it can be all kinds of, white papers, infographics, whatever works for your firm, but you want some really meaty information so that when people get there, you're answering their questions. And here's my little slide with the Hummingbird to remind us that Google is moving more and more towards prioritizing useful content in search results. So if you take the time to write an evergreen article, so something that maybe if you're an accounting firm, you find you're answering this year after year for small business owners, so you know it's going to be evergreen into the future, and maybe you write 1,000 words, 2,000 words about a nice long article, that is going to be good for you for years to come. So when you're thinking about the kind of content you want to offer people, don't just think about what's hot right now, but think about what is going to continue to pay you dividends into the future. And then the third step is once you've brought people in through content or they got referred in and they've looked, they've seen some things they like, you want ways for them to stay in closer engagement with your firm. So it could be, here's a call to action button from the Sykes site where they can just email and ask anything. They also, up on the site, are tweets from Olin, so if you like Twitter, you can engage with him that way. There's now a couple other interactive features that we've put up with a video series and a forum to ask questions. So there's just a lot of different ways for people to stay engaged with the firm once they've found them. So you want to make sure that you've got a variety of that. And so now I wanted to kind of come through that again at a different angle, because I know this is one of those things where you're like, okay, I got it now, but later I'm going to try to do this and it's going to leave my brain again. So really, how do we do that? So step by step for you, for your firm, how do you have a great internet presence that speaks to the brain of modern consumers? All right, so what I just talked about, they need to find you, and that's SEO, social media, referrals. When they do find you, they need to like what they find, and then it needs to draw you into closer engagement. So this is kind of your checklist. And here's my big secret for how to make this all work really easily. Begin with the audience in mind and end with the audience in mind. So don't think too much about what kind of content, or what partner is going to flip out when I ask them to write an article. I know it's hard not to think about that, but think about, okay, if I was a prospective client and I was faced with a number of firms like ours, what would I need? And this is another thing from that consumer mind book that was really impactful for me, was just how distracted we are today. We live in a world where we have split attention all the time. We're being messaged, we're being emailed, we're surfing on our tablet while watching television. So the way that people pay attention has changed. And what that means for us as marketers and as people in professional service firms is we have to make it easier than ever for our prospective clients to come through the buying cycle. We have to make things super clear and straightforward. We have to understand where they're coming from, because they do not have the time and focus to spend trying to figure out if our services are a fit, if our firm is a fit. We really need to be able to hand that to them in the ways that they need. So ask yourself, what does this person need? What pains are they facing? What questions do they have at each stage in the buying cycle? What benefits do we provide, and what does that really mean? Not just, oh, we provide benefit X, but what does benefit X look like in their world? How do you translate it over to them? So you really want to create content for their fundamental needs. And then once you have that, you can map that onto your site architecture. You can map that onto how you create and use content. So the least you need to know to create some great content, to create a great online presence, is what differentiates you? Why should they choose you? Why why are they in pain? Why should you win out over the status quo? So that first question is, why do you win over your competition? But why do you win over doing nothing? What stages of the buying cycle do they have, and what have you already said? And I actually have a poll because I'm really curious. What's the hardest for you? So I'm launching a poll. Which of these is the hardest for you right now? And I confess, I didn't make this where you could pick multiple options. And so I know it's hard to choose between some of these. All right, you get about 5 more seconds, and then I will show you what everyone said their hardest things are. All right, great. All right, so here we go. So a tie in the lead between the differentiators and buying stages, which I totally get. Those are both really tricky, and we spend a lot of time working with firms on their differentiators, because that can be hard, especially when everyone's saying the same messages. And buying cycle also, really getting over into your clients' shoes and understanding how they buy. Tracking content, especially as you produce more and more content, that's a big deal. And then I'm actually cheered to see that understanding pains is number 4 in this poll, because I like to think that you really do understand your clients' pains very well. So thank you for joining me in that poll. All right. So I just wanted to show you a couple more quick examples and slides, but we're getting towards the end, as you can see, because it's 1:24. So if you have any questions, ask them quick. And if not, I've got a couple more things for you here. So I just wanted to show an example, because we talked about this at the beginning, but I think it's really important. This is from KFI Engineers, And, the whole design of their site is created to show that they're innovative, that they're forward thinkers. It's very engaging. There's a lot to roll over and engage with. And at the same time, you can see it's very straightforward and simple. You know immediately if you're an architect where you should be clicking on the site. So it's a great combination of making it simple for your distracted buyer and making it innovative and forward thinking so that they really get the feel of your firm. So I hope you all have sites like this, or you're moving in the direction of having sites that showcase your firm and also make it so easy for your buyers to buy. Another key point, and this was one of our pains here, is you want to use tools that let you track how your content is being consumed and shared. So you can do this, if you use programs that let you use social media more easily. Hootsuite is what we use, HOOTSUITE.com. Any of that, and now it's built into Facebook and LinkedIn, so you can see what's your best content. It's a great way to know what to write more about, is see what people are sharing and talking about. And then another quick tip, if you're having trouble tracking the content you've posted, sometimes if you have your content management system will handle that, but sometimes we just use an Excel spreadsheet to list out the kinds of content that we've posted, where it's been shared, and when we should share it again. Okay, and then here is your last radical tip of the day: care. In addition to people being more distracted and more innovation friendly than ever before, people are more anxious and ruder than ever before in the United States. And this is a great opportunity for your firm. If your firm is a better human being online than you are in person, you will attract buyers. If you have authentic, open, honest connections online, people so appreciate that. They crave it because people are having more shallow, disconnected relationships, and they really want to be able to make a warm connection. And you can do this online through your site and through your social media, and people appreciate it. And you can also do it in your welcome areas, in your firms. Make sure that there's a warm greeting, that there's a lot of human connection, because people really crave that. All right, speaking of human connection, we love having human connection, so we've got some free content up on our site. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, it's really cool. We not only talk about great marketing trends, tips, and techniques, but you get the cool inside scoop on what we're doing at our firm. In addition, we are on the social media. You can friend us on Facebook, which is where all of our funniest stuff is. So I do recommend that. You can follow us on LinkedIn, which is where all of our most important article stuff is. And you can follow us on Twitter. So all of those are available for people. And then this PowerPoint, I've got a couple other slides in here just about our capabilities and some of the clients that we've worked with, if you're really curious about that. And this PowerPoint will be up on our website along with a recording of this video if you want to go back and review some of it, or if you want to forward it to someone else. And then lastly, this is me, Rachel at ingenuitymarketing.com. I welcome questions or feedback. I'm also on Twitter as at Rachel Gould. So please come visit our website, connect with us, ask us questions, and I hope that I'll get to see you again in the near future in the virtual world. Thank you very much for joining me today.